Everyone thinks they know why people act the way they do. But the truth is, the mind operates in mysterious ways. We may think we understand the reasons behind our behaviors, but in reality, there's more going on beneath the surface. Let's dive into some fascinating psychology facts that might just surprise you. 1. Your brain can't multitask effectively. While many people believe they can juggle multiple tasks at once, the human brain is not designed for true multitasking. Instead, it rapidly switches between tasks, which actually decreases efficiency and increases the chance of making mistakes. When you think you're multitasking, you're really just quickly toggling between different tasks, which reduces your brain's ability to focus on any one of them. Doing one task at a time helps you be more productive and accurate. 2. People are more likely to believe information if it's repeated. The mere exposure effect explains why repeated information seems more truthful over time. Your brain is more likely to accept repeated information as accurate simply because you've heard it before. This is why advertising works so well. If you hear a message over and over, you start to trust it, even if it's not entirely accurate. The more we hear something, the more familiar and reliable it seems. 3. Decision-making is influenced by emotion, not logic. Many people think they make decisions based on logic, but emotions actually play a larger role in decision-making than most realize. Even when we try to use reason, the brain's emotional centers influence our choices. Research shows that people who have damage to the emotional centers of their brain struggle to make even simple decisions, proving just how important emotion is in the process of deciding what to do. 4. The color green is associated with creativity. Green is often linked to creativity because it's a color that naturally appears in environments conducive to new ideas, such as nature. Studies have shown that being surrounded by the color green can enhance creativity and problem-solving abilities. This is why you might notice a spike in creative thinking when you're outdoors or in a green space. Your brain is responding to the calming and stimulating effects of the color. 5. People with high emotional intelligence, EQ, tend to be more successful. While IQ has long been seen as the most important predictor of success, emotional intelligence, EQ, is now recognized as a major factor in achieving success, especially in social and professional environments. People with high EQ are better at managing their emotions, understanding others' feelings, and handling interpersonal relationships. This gives them an advantage in both personal and career success. 6. You remember information better when you teach someone else. One of the best ways to remember information is to teach it to someone else. When you explain a concept or skill to another person, your brain is forced to recall and process the information more deeply, reinforcing your understanding. This method, known as the protégé effect, not only helps you remember better, but also boosts your self-confidence as you become more proficient in the subject. 7. The way you walk can influence how others see you. Your gait and body language say a lot about how confident or insecure you feel. Studies show that people can often determine your emotional state and personality just by watching how you walk. A person who walks with their head held high and shoulders back is generally perceived as more confident and competent, while someone with a slouched posture may be seen as less confident or even anxious. 8. Your subconscious mind can influence your decisions. Much of your behavior is controlled by your subconscious mind, which influences the decisions you make without you even realizing it. In fact, studies have shown that the subconscious mind can guide your choices before you're even consciously aware of them. This is why gut feelings or instincts can sometimes be so accurate. They are driven by your brain processing information on a subconscious level. 9. People are more likely to agree with you if you use their name. The power of a name is stronger than you might think. Using someone's name in conversation can make them feel more valued and respected. It helps form a connection between the speaker and the listener, triggering positive emotions. People tend to be more agreeable and responsive when their name is used, as it triggers recognition and a sense of importance. 10. Time pressure can lead to poor decisions. When you feel rushed or pressured by time, your brain doesn't have enough space to make well-thought-out decisions. Under time pressure, people are more likely to take shortcuts or make decisions based on emotion rather than logic. This is why it's often recommended to step away from high-stress situations and take a breather before making important decisions. 11. Your brain can be tricked by optical illusions. Optical illusions work because your brain interprets visual information based on its past experiences, expectations, and context. Your brain is constantly making assumptions about what you see, and these assumptions can sometimes lead you to misinterpret reality. Optical illusions take advantage of this by presenting visual information in a way that challenges your brain's assumptions and causes it to see something that isn't there. 12. People who are chronically lonely tend to live shorter lives. Loneliness can have a significant impact on your health. Studies have shown that people who experience chronic loneliness are more likely to suffer from a range of health issues, including high blood pressure, heart disease, and weakened immune systems. In fact, chronic loneliness has been linked to a higher risk of early death. Having strong social connections, on the other hand, can help extend your lifespan. 13. Tend to remember the beginning and end of experiences the most. This is known as the serial position effect. People are more likely to remember the first and last parts of an event or experience, while the middle parts are often forgotten. This is why the opening and closing moments of a presentation, speech, or meeting are so important. The beginning and end are the parts people remember most, so it's crucial to make them count. 14. Mirroring others can help you build rapport. When you subtly mimic someone's body language, tone of voice, or gestures, it creates a sense of connection and builds rapport. This is a natural, subconscious behavior that helps create trust and mutual understanding. It signals to the other person that you are in sync with them, making them more likely to feel comfortable and open around you. 15. Your brain likes routine because it conserves energy. Routines help your brain conserve energy by making tasks automatic. When you perform the same actions every day, your brain doesn't have to work as hard to process them. This is why habits, whether good or bad, can be so hard to break. The brain craves efficiency, and routines provide a way to streamline decision-making and reduce cognitive load. 16. People are drawn to those who are confident, even if they're wrong. Confidence can make people seem more attractive, even if they don't have all the facts right. Research shows that people are often drawn to individuals who speak with certainty and assertiveness, regardless of whether their information is accurate. This is because confidence signals to the brain that the person knows what they're talking about, even if they don't. 17. A messy environment can make you feel stressed. Studies have shown that cluttered or disorganized spaces can increase feelings of anxiety and stress. Your brain perceives clutter as a constant reminder of things that need attention, which can lead to mental overload. On the other hand, a clean and organized space can promote relaxation and help you focus better. 18. Your sense of smell is directly linked to memory. The sense of smell is closely tied to the limbic system, the part of your brain that processes emotions and memories. This is why certain smells, like the scent of a particular perfume or food, can trigger vivid memories and emotions. Scents have a powerful ability to bring memories to the surface, sometimes even before you consciously realize what they are. 19. Writing by hand improves memory retention. When you write something down by hand, your brain engages more actively than when you type. Writing by hand requires you to think about the material more deeply, which helps reinforce the information. Studies have shown that people who take handwritten notes tend to remember the material better than those who use a computer or phone. 20. People are more likely to remember negative experiences than positive ones. The brain is wired to prioritize negative experiences because, from an evolutionary standpoint, recognizing threats was crucial for survival. This negativity bias means that negative events are more likely to stick in your memory, while positive experiences may fade away over time. While this can help us avoid dangers, it can also lead to excessive worry or rumination on past mistakes. 21. People are more likely to take risks when they're in a group. When individuals are part of a group, they tend to take more risks than they would alone. This is known as risky shift behavior. The presence of others often makes people feel more invincible or less accountable for their actions. This is why group decisions, such as in business or social settings, can sometimes lead to riskier choices than individual decisions would. The group dynamic often amplifies confidence, sometimes leading to overconfidence and poor judgment. 22. Listening to music can enhance your workout performance. Music has the power to motivate and improve physical performance. When you listen to music while exercising, it boosts your mood and reduces the perception of effort, making physical tasks seem easier. Fast-paced music, in particular, can increase endurance and intensity during a workout. This happens because music activates areas of the brain that are associated with motivation and pleasure, helping you push through physical barriers. 23. People who are surrounded by nature tend to be more generous. Research shows that people who spend more time in natural environments are more likely to exhibit pro-social behavior, like helping others. Nature has a calming effect on the mind and increases feelings of empathy and connectedness, which makes people more likely to be generous and compassionate. This is why many charities and volunteer organizations encourage outdoor activities to help foster a spirit of community and goodwill. 24. We tend to overestimate our ability to control situations. Humans often believe they have more control over their environment than they actually do. This illusion of control is especially common in situations that involve chance, like gambling or investments. People are often convinced that their actions will directly influence outcomes, even when those outcomes are random. This overestimation can lead to poor decision-making and unnecessary risk-taking. 25. Physical touch can build trust between people. Physical touch is a powerful way to build trust and create bonds between people. Simple gestures like a handshake, a pat on the back, or a hug can increase feelings of connection and trust. Research shows that physical touch activates oxytocin, the hormone responsible for bonding and attachment. This is why touch is often used in therapy, counseling, and even business negotiations to help establish rapport and trust. 26. Smiling can improve your mood even if it's forced. Even if you're not feeling happy, forcing a smile can actually improve your mood. The simple act of smiling triggers the release of dopamine and serotonin in the brain, chemicals that are responsible for making you feel good. This is called the facial feedback hypothesis, which suggests that facial expressions can influence our emotions. So, next time you're feeling down, try smiling, even if it feels unnatural at first. It could help you feel better. 27. Your brain is wired to focus on faces. Humans are naturally drawn to faces. From an early age, our brains are programmed to recognize faces, making them one of the most important things we notice. This is why facial recognition is one of the most specialized processes in the brain. The brain dedicates a specific region for face processing, making us particularly sensitive to facial expressions and emotions. This ability is so ingrained that even inanimate objects or abstract patterns can sometimes appear to have faces, a phenomenon known as pareidolia. 28. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it can reduce stress. While wealth doesn't necessarily increase happiness, it can reduce financial stress, which in turn improves overall well-being. Research has shown that having enough money to meet basic needs, like housing, food, and healthcare, can increase happiness because it alleviates anxiety. However, once these needs are met, additional income doesn't lead to a significant increase in happiness. The key is financial security, not wealth for the sake of luxury. 29. Being kind to others makes you feel good. Acts of kindness, big or small, have been shown to improve the well-being of the giver. When you help someone, your brain releases oxytocin, the feel-good hormone, which increases feelings of happiness and satisfaction. This is why many people feel a sense of joy when they help others, whether it's through volunteering, giving advice, or simply offering a compliment. Kindness is not only beneficial to the receiver, but also enhances the giver's emotional health. 30. People can develop a fear of success. While most people fear failure, some individuals also develop a fear of success. This fear stems from the anxiety about the changes and expectations that come with achieving success. People with this fear may sabotage their efforts, procrastinate, or avoid pursuing goals altogether to avoid the pressures associated with success. This phenomenon can be rooted in self-doubt, fear of judgment, or a lack of self-worth. 31. We are more likely to remember events that have emotional significance. Humans have a tendency to remember events that are tied to strong emotions, whether positive or negative. Emotional experiences are encoded more deeply in the brain and are often recalled with more clarity and detail than neutral experiences. This is because the brain's emotional center, the amygdala, plays a crucial role in memory formation. This is why you can vividly recall moments of joy, sadness, or excitement long after they occur. 32. The brain has a negativity bias. Humans are wired to pay more attention to negative experiences than positive ones. This negativity bias is an evolutionary adaptation designed to help humans avoid danger. Early humans needed to remember threats and negative outcomes to survive. As a result, the brain reacts more strongly to negative stimuli and experiences, often dwelling on them longer than positive ones. This bias can lead to excessive worry and anxiety, but it can also help individuals stay alert to potential risks. 33. People's behavior can be influenced by the power of suggestion. The human mind is highly suggestible. People can change their thoughts, behaviors, and beliefs based on subtle suggestions or cues, often without realizing it. This is why advertising, social media, and even hypnosis can have such a powerful impact on people's decisions. The mind can be influenced by framing, how information is presented, and the words used, even if the person doesn't consciously agree with the suggestion. 34. The act of giving can boost your happiness. Giving, whether it's through donations, volunteering, or simple acts of kindness, can increase feelings of happiness and fulfillment. Studies have shown that the act of giving activates the reward centers in the brain, releasing dopamine and creating a sense of joy. This is why people who regularly engage in charitable acts tend to report higher levels of satisfaction and well-being. Giving not only benefits the recipient, but also enhances the giver's emotional health. 35. People are more likely to remember faces than names. Humans are incredibly adept at recognizing faces, but we often struggle to remember names. This is because the brain processes faces in a specialized region, the fusiform face area, while names are processed in a different part of the brain. While faces are recognized by a dedicated system that prioritizes visual features, names require more cognitive effort to recall and are often forgotten more easily. 36. Fear can impair your decision-making abilities. When you're afraid, your brain goes into survival mode, which limits your ability to think clearly. The amygdala, which is responsible for processing emotions like fear, can hijack the decision-making process, causing you to make impulsive or irrational choices. This is why people often make bad decisions when they're under stress or in high-pressure situations. It's important to recognize when fear is clouding your judgment and take a step back before making decisions. 37. People who practice gratitude are happier. Gratitude is one of the most effective ways to improve mental health and happiness. Studies have shown that people who regularly practice gratitude by keeping a gratitude journal or simply taking time to reflect on things they're thankful for experience higher levels of happiness and satisfaction. Gratitude activates the brain's reward system and helps individuals focus on the positive aspects of their lives, leading to a more optimistic outlook. 38. The halo effect can shape your perceptions of others. The halo effect is a cognitive bias where our overall impression of a person influences how we perceive their individual traits. For example, if someone is physically attractive, we are more likely to assume that they are also intelligent, kind, or capable. This bias can lead to unfair judgments, as people often make assumptions based on a single characteristic, rather than evaluating someone more holistically. 39. Your brain rewires itself with new experiences. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. This means that your brain can adapt to new experiences, learn new skills, and recover from injuries by creating new pathways. Whether you're learning a language, picking up a new hobby, or recovering from trauma, your brain has the incredible ability to change and grow in response to the challenges you face. 40. People tend to believe they have more control over their lives than they actually do. The illusion of control is a cognitive bias, where individuals believe they have more control over their lives and outcomes than they actually do. This can lead to overconfidence and risk-taking behavior. While some level of control is important for success, it's essential to recognize that many factors are outside of our control, and learning to let go can reduce stress and anxiety. 1. Women remember the emotions, not just the words. When a woman hears something, she doesn't just record the sentence like a tape recorder. She absorbs how it was said, the tone, the tension, the softness, the slight hesitation in a voice. That emotional layer gets stored much deeper in her memory than the literal words themselves. That's why she can look at someone years later and remember exactly how that moment made her feel, even when the details of the conversation are blurry. For women, emotions are not background noise. They are the foundation. This is also why careless tones can cut deeper than careless words. What you say might fade, but how you made her feel becomes a permanent chapter in her emotional memory. 2. A woman's silence can say more than 1,000 words. When she goes silent, it's not always indifference. Sometimes, silence is what happens when every explanation has already been given, every emotion already spilled. It's not weakness, it's power, it's protection, It's the point where she decides her peace matters more than being understood by someone who isn't listening. People often misread a woman's silence as coldness, but in truth, it's often the sound of someone who has simply learned not to waste her words on ears that don't care. That silence is heavy. It's not empty. And if you've ever seen a woman choose silence over speaking, you've witnessed strength disguised as stillness. 3. Women smile even when they're broken inside. Many women learn from a young age to smile through pain. Society often teaches them that quiet strength is admirable, that vulnerability is weakness, that being too emotional makes them less believable. So they wear a smile even when it hurts. It's not because they don't feel pain. It's because they've learned to protect their hearts from the world's judgment. That soft smile can be a mask, a wall, and a quiet scream all at once. And those who see only the surface will never understand how much strength it takes to smile through the ache. 4. Women form emotional bonds faster and deeper. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, plays a powerful role in how women emotionally connect. When a woman starts trusting someone, her brain creates a deeper emotional attachment far quicker than she may even realize. That's why betrayal cuts so sharply. To her, a bond isn't just a moment. It's a thread woven into her sense of safety. Once that trust is established, she lets down walls that were built from years of pain, insecurity, and hard lessons. She doesn't just connect with words. She connects with energy, with consistency, with how someone shows up when the world gets loud. 5. A woman who seems cold has usually been warmed too many times. That distant woman who appears untouchable wasn't always that way. Most of the time, she's the woman who gave too much of herself in the past. Her patience, her trust, her heart, only to be left carrying shards of it alone. Coldness isn't her nature. It's her defense. It's a quiet warning. I've been here before, and I won't break the same way twice. Beneath the layers of calm detachment, there's often a soul that once loved fearlessly. 6. Women notice energy before words. A woman can walk into a room and instantly feel when something's off. She may not have proof, but she senses it. The shift in tone, the subtle change in rhythm, the way someone avoids her eyes. This heightened sensitivity isn't weakness. It's emotional intelligence sharpened through years of observing, adapting, and surviving. She doesn't need an explanation. She reads the air. 7. A woman who loves deeply remembers details forever. When a woman truly loves, she remembers things you didn't even notice you did. She remembers how your voice cracked at 2 a.m. when you finally opened up. She remembers your favorite snack on days you were exhausted. She remembers what made you laugh, what made you quiet, what made you real. Love for her isn't just a feeling. It's a map of everything that made the connection feel alive. 8. Women forgive faster than they heal. When a woman says, "It's okay," it often isn't. It's her way of holding peace together while she bleeds on the inside. Forgiveness for her isn't erasure, it's survival. But wounds don't disappear just because she decided to forgive. They stay, quietly shaping how she moves, how she trusts, how she protects herself the next time. 9. Women feel emotions in layers, not lines. Emotions for a woman are rarely black and white. She can feel joy and grief in the same breath. She can love someone deeply while knowing she needs to walk away. She can smile while her heart aches. These layered emotions are part of what makes her both delicate and fierce. To understand her, you have to stop looking for simple answers. 10. When a woman trusts you, you hold a fragile power. Earning her trust isn't a game. It's a slow, quiet unfolding of everything she's kept hidden. When she chooses to trust, she isn't just handing over secrets. She's handing over the softest, most unguarded part of her soul. If you ever hold a woman's trust in your hands, know that breaking it doesn't just change how she sees you, it changes how she sees the world. 11. When a woman starts distancing herself, it's not random. It's a decision born in silence. People often think emotional distance happens overnight, but with women, it almost never does. Before she pulls away, she notices every subtle shift. She absorbs every quiet betrayal, every small disappointment, every moment someone made her feel unseen. She collects them like pebbles in her pocket, until one day the weight becomes too heavy. That's when she retreats. Her silence isn't sudden. It's a quiet answer to pain she never spoke about. She doesn't slam the door. She simply stops standing in it. 12. Women protect their hearts long after they've been broken. When someone breaks a woman's heart, it doesn't just heal and reset. A part of her starts guarding every doorway to her soul. She questions kindness. She replays motives. She becomes careful with who she lets close. It's not coldness, it's survival. She's rebuilding trust in the world, brick by brick, hoping someone will be patient enough to stay while she learns to open up again. 13. A woman's laughter can be a shield as much as it is a song. When a woman laughs, the world sees joy. But sometimes that laugh is hiding something she can't explain. Humor is often a defense mechanism, a soft veil over a scarred heart. It's easier to laugh than to bleed in front of people who might not understand. Her laughter isn't fake. It's layered. It's joy and pain coexisting in one beautiful sound. 14. Women have a unique ability to love broken things. A woman can love someone who doesn't see their own worth. She can hold a storm in her hands and call it home. She can pour light into places where no one else dared to go. This is both her gift and her curse. She sees potential where others see problems. But if that love isn't returned with the same depth, it starts to drain her slowly, piece by piece. 15. When a woman walks away quietly, it's the loudest goodbye. A woman rarely explodes when she's done. She doesn't beg, doesn't scream. She simply walks away with everything she gave, her love, her trust, her fire, and leaves silence behind. That silence is the echo of every chance she offered, every late-night prayer for things to change. When she walks away quietly, it's because she's already screamed in her heart 1,000 times. 16. Women often carry other people's pain like their own. Women have an incredible emotional capacity. They absorb the pain of those they love as if it's their own. They worry deeply, feel deeply, care deeply, sometimes to the point of forgetting themselves. That empathy can heal others, but it can also break her if no one ever thinks to ask, "How are you doing?" A woman who carries the world in her chest eventually needs someone to carry her too. 17. When a woman is soft, it's not weakness, it's courage. Being soft in a world that has hardened her is an act of rebellion. A woman who loves despite being hurt, who trusts despite being betrayed, who smiles despite the weight on her shoulders, that's not fragile, that's powerful. Her softness is her weapon. It's proof she refused to let the world make her bitter. 18. A woman who feels deeply also remembers longer. Pain doesn't just pass through her. It roots itself like ink soaking into paper. She may forgive, she may smile, she may even move on. But somewhere inside her, that memory lives on as a lesson, as a scar, as a reminder. And those who mistake her forgiveness for forgetfulness will learn just how sharp a quiet memory can be. 19. Women often hold back tears, not because they don't want to cry, but because they're tired of not being understood. She's cried before, she's explained before, she's opened up before, and too many times it didn't change a thing. So now, when the pain rises in her chest, she swallows it down and turns it into silence. Not because she doesn't feel it, but because she's learned the world doesn't always hear women when they speak softly. 20. When a woman loves herself, she becomes untouchable. The most powerful transformation is when a woman stops seeking validation from others and starts giving it to herself. She learns that she doesn't need to beg to be chosen. She doesn't need to shrink to be loved. When she loves herself, she walks differently. She speaks differently. And suddenly, what once broke her no longer has power over her. That's not arrogance. That's liberation. 21. Women remember the moments they stopped explaining. There comes a point in many women's lives where they stop trying to convince someone of their worth, their feelings, or their pain. That moment is quiet but defining. She remembers the exact second she realized that repeating herself was only exhausting her soul, not changing the situation. That's when the switch flips, from trying to be understood to protecting her peace. Once a woman reaches that place, it's nearly impossible to pull her back into the chaos she walked out of. That silence becomes her strength. 22. Women feel love through consistency, not promises. A woman doesn't fall for grand gestures alone. She falls for the small, repeated actions that tell her she matters. It's not about what someone says when everything's easy. It's about how they show up when things are hard. Consistency to a woman is love in motion. It's the quiet reassurance that she's safe, valued, and not just an afterthought. Words can melt her heart, but actions are what make it stay open. 23. A woman who loves deeply sees beauty in imperfections. When a woman truly loves someone, she sees their flaws not as reasons to leave, but as proof they're human. She memorizes their imperfections like poetry, not to fix them, but to understand them. Her love is rarely shallow. It's layered, patient, and often too forgiving. But once she realizes that love isn't being reciprocated with the same depth, she quietly gathers her heart and walks away. 24. Women notice when love starts to feel like a one-way street. She doesn't need someone to say it out loud. She notices when messages turn colder, when conversations become shorter, when their eyes stop lighting up at the sound of her voice. She notices when love starts to feel heavy, and even if she stays for a while, deep down, she's already preparing to let go. 25. A woman who loves her own company becomes hard to manipulate. When a woman learns to find peace in solitude, she becomes dangerous to anyone who tries to control her with attention or withdrawal. She's no longer chasing validation, she's choosing connection. When she enjoys her own company, love stops being a need and starts being a choice. 26. Women remember pain in silence, but they also heal in silence. Not every woman screams her pain out loud. Some bury it deep inside their chest, nursing it in the dark where no one can see. But just as they remember quietly, they also rise quietly. One day she wakes up and the weight is lighter. One day she stops checking her phone. One day she stops caring. Healing for women isn't always dramatic. It's often slow, silent, and unstoppable. 27. Women see through pretense faster than they reveal. A woman might not call it out immediately, but she knows when someone's pretending. She sees it in the way their words don't match their eyes. She feels it in the energy. And though she might give them the benefit of the doubt, she tucks that knowledge away. Because once a woman sees through you, she never really sees you the same way again. 28. When a woman starts loving herself, she rewrites her story. For years, she may have dimmed her light to make others comfortable, played small to fit into spaces too tight for her spirit. But once she starts loving herself, everything changes. She walks taller. She speaks with clarity. She demands respect not through anger, but through presence. Loving herself doesn't make her selfish. It makes her free. 29. Women don't always leave when they're hurt. Sometimes they leave when they're tired. Pain is one thing, exhaustion is another. A woman can survive pain, but the endless weight of repeating cycles, unspoken disappointment, and feeling like she's carrying everything alone, that's what finally breaks her. And when she's tired, she doesn't slam the door. She simply stops knocking. 30. When a woman loves without fear, it's a rare kind of magic. When a woman chooses to love with her whole soul, not out of need, not out of fear of being alone, but simply because she wants to, it's something extraordinary. That love is pure, fearless, and luminous. It's the kind of love that can transform someone, but it only exists where she feels safe, because the right love doesn't cage her. It lets her bloom.